How you feeling? How you been feeling? And what was this past week and a half like for you?
I mean, it sucked from a standpoint of being away from the team. I didn't feel too great for a few days, but once the headache stopped and body chills, stuff like that, just the normal stuff that I had to deal with. So it was, but the worst part was just not being able to be here, with the squad and travel. Haven't not been to a game yet, so that was kind of weird watching on TV. But definitely was excited watching my brother go to work though. It's good to be back.
Good to go for Sunday?
Yes, I will be playing Sunday.
How have you seen Jordan take strides in what you've seen from him this season, just practicing OTAs and all of that?
Well, I mean, I definitely see that ever since it was kind of some back and forth on whether or not 12 would be here, I kind of noticed that he took a step of just leadership, like I talked about before, and his attention to detail. You could tell he was starting to gear to not just being a young guy, young rookie learning, but trying to be more hands-on and learn from experience and start really getting into the meat and potatoes of this offense. So obviously you can't, we got a lot of leaders, a lot of captains on this team. So it's not necessarily vocal leader, from that standpoint, but as far as like him just taking, owning his, who he is in this building and starting to really look like the first rounder that we brought here. Whether it was in practice, taking his reps really serious. I mean, I feel like he always was tapped into it, but when you have opportunity to be on the field, you definitely see another, like, kind of a different look in his eyes. So I've been seeing that. He's been communicating well this week, so I'm looking forward to see what he does.
How have you seen the team just rally around them? Matt LaFleur said that, he expected you guys to really just embrace what the challenge you guys have this week with him at the helm.
Yeah, the team's done a really good job with it. I think that everybody knows it's going to be different, going in this week. But we're going to make it as easy on him as possible. Nobody's hanging their head that 12's not here because, at the end of the day, just like when I wasn't here, it's a next man up mentality, and the show kind of got to go on. So I know the White House have been in good spirits, keeping him high and keeping him, keeping his mind right. It's not always going to be great. You go from best quarterback to play the game. Anybody's going to be, a drop off, for lack of better words. But I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, though. I can definitely tell that he's tapped in and ready to play. So it'll be fun to go out there and sling it around a little bit.
I'm not asking you to tell us if MVS or Dave is playing, but those guys returning soon, Lazard coming back, is there some excitement that there is still some untapped potential for this offense, given what you guys have done without some of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, we played the majority of the season without, some key guys. I missed last week. Quez has been out for a minute now. Z being gone. Now we got, no 12 this week. So it just shows really what we're about, that as a team and as an offense. Like I said before, next man mentality, but it's definitely exciting to know that we're playing pretty good ball right now without some of those guys. So got to keep pushing until we get everybody, but I'm definitely looking forward to a healthy full team.
We know about your connection with Aaron. How would you describe your connection with Jordan?
I mean, that's a tough question. I don't know how to describe it. It's really we haven't played together yet, so I mean, it's not really a way to describe that. It's going to be new, but I'm looking forward to seeing how the game goes.
Davante, obviously what you do in terms of vaccinations is a personal choice, but because of the NFL protocols, that there is an impact on the team. Aaron not getting vaccinated, that could potentially cost him to miss 2 games instead of 1. Do you have any issue with the way that he handled that?
Grown man. Everybody can, it's bigger than football, man. It's people's lives that they got to figure out how, what they're comfortable with. There's religion and all different types of things that go into it. So any questions for Aaron and his vaccination status is better off left to when he talks to you guys. But I'm pro-choice for whoever, you figure out what you want to do. It's bigger than just about winning games. That's all I'll say, but at the end of the day, everybody's a grown man. They can make the decision. If you get it, I'm happy for you. If you don't, I'm happy for you. Obviously, you just got to be smart about how people move around. But, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Davante, I know you've got your responsibilities, running routes, catching passes, all that, but with a game like this, do you feel as a leader on the offense that you'll have a little bit different role in the huddle on the sideline, anything with helping Jordan, with his first start?
Not too much. I mean, when Aaron's there, I'm the same in the huddle. I mean, I'm talking to guys, and I'm still the leader in the huddle. It's the same thing. It's not just Aaron's huddle. I mean, we all communicating there. Obviously, in between plays, it's not as much of that. But sideline, we're always talking. I go over to 12 and I tell them about what I'm seeing. It'll be the same as as 12's in there as far as our communication on the bench. Talking with the wideouts, whoever's out there. So. It really won't change much for me because I'm already a pretty vocal guy during the game, whether it's just positive reinforcement, telling guys what I see, talking about routes with the quarterback or whatever it is. So it shouldn't change too much.
I know this doesn't have much to do with the topics of the day, but there hasn't been a Packer to win NFC Defensive Player of the Month in 11 years, I think it is. You've been here for a while. I'm not asking you to talk down on any of the other middle linebackers, but what has it been from your perspective having a guy like Dre to watch?
I mean, it's tough because it's bigger than, or it's more than just how you play. It's not always up to you because there's been some weeks where, we've had some guys have some crazy games and don't end up with the NFC Player of the Week. So it kind of just comes down to who they feel, and I don't know who they is, but whoever's voting on it. So we've had some guys that may be on defense that may have been worthy of it in the past since I've been here, but it just goes to show how. I guess the word is obvious. The work he's putting in is, it jumps out at you. You see the tackles he's making. He's making impact plays, TFLs, picks. It's not just sneaky stuff, just accumulating tackles 10 yards, 15 yards down the field. Like, he's making impact plays, getting the defense off the field. So anytime you have a guy that plays with that type of play style, you have a higher chance of getting it. So I wouldn't say it's his last one. So maybe this year, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I don't know what the rules are as far as doubling up in a year, but I can see Dre going out there with the way he plays and prepares, man. He can go have that type of month or year at any point.
Davante, I have a football question and a non-football question for you. Which one would you like first?
If you can give me 2 football questions, I would like that.
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you about Aaron Rodgers' vaccine choices, nor am I going to ask you about his views that he was spending the last 46 minutes talking about. Yes. What I'm going to ask you about, though, is that Mike McCarthy for many years said, don't create questions for other people in the locker room. While you guys were at practice, he chose to go on the Pat McAfee show and say a lot of things about vaccination, etc. Mm-hmm. It is going to be, and I'm sorry to Packers.com, it's going to be. I'm just wondering what your role is as a team leader to make sure that the focus does not get affected by what is coming, because this is going to be a major story, and you as a leader are going to have to lead your team to make sure that it doesn't affect your preparation. How do you go about doing that?
I mean, the same way that we go about a week like this, Dylan's already been enough news surrounding him, so it's already a certain amount that we have to block out, and we've already brought to the team. And I've said, even yesterday when I came back, I said, hey, look, this has been a crazy week because, yeah, I'm back, but it ain't about me. And we got this stuff going on, with 12 not being here, but it ain't about him. It's about this whole team together. So just lock in and do what you got to do to be as, mentally tapped in so you can go play your best game. So it's really not something we need to overemphasize, but it'll get brought up at some point, potentially. I don't really know what you're referring to right now. I just finished practice. So I'm sure, if it does become news, they like to talk about us a lot over here. So, just lock in on what you got to lock in on and block out what you can block out, and it doesn't really pertain to you.
Thank you. Now my football question.
Okay.
How exactly were you, other than being good, how were you able to be as productive as you were in 17 with Hundley? What allowed you to do that? We talked to Jordy this week about it, actually, and he and Kavi were not all that productive, frankly. What was beyond just being a really good player, what were you able to do to make yourself productive and help him in a challenging situation of his own?
Well, good question. What I've been telling everybody, all the wideouts, is the reason why I've been able to be productive with him or Aaron is just because I feel like the trust was built on just the consistency. It's not like when I go run a route, they're not worried about how I'm going to run that route. Like, I'm going to run that route to win every single time, so that they trusted that. And there's 4 or 5 receivers out there, give or take every play, including a running back. So there's 4 or 5 people that he can choose to throw the ball to. Why not run your route as consistent and as good as as you can, and then that's going to give him in his head like, oh, 12 told you guys a bunch of times. The reason why I've gravitated toward Tay is because I would look on the film all the time, even when he wasn't getting the ball, and he's winning every single time. So the quarterback understands that, and he knows if he wants to be productive as well, that his best bet is to go to who's open and who he can trust the most. So the idea is to get everybody to do that, so that the quarterback has unlimited options, and he knows basically wherever I look, I can trust that the guy's going to be open, or at least fighting to get open. So I guess that's what it was from the beginning, is that Brett knew that he could trust that on any given play that I'd get open. I think I saw a lot more one-on-ones at that point too, so that's where I was, I would see one guy cover me, and it would just get me in the mood to go win on the route. And he would just go look, and I'd see a one-on-one, and then be able to make some noise. So I attribute it to that more than anything.
Speaking of Jordy, when we talked to him the other day, he said you thought that he hated you.
He did hate me.
Can you explain that for me? Because he claims he never hated you. He loves you, and I know you guys are friends now. But he said he was really tough on you, and he says that's why you thought he hated you.
Yeah, no, he hated me. So when I first got here, I thought it was just like I take it back. Jordy didn't hate me, but he hated rookies, because I came in mouth shut, quiet, just coming in doing my thing. I never thought I knew everything. He told me I thought I knew everything, but I literally didn't even speak in the meeting. So I think he was just trying to justify his being mean to me. But when I called him out about it, I didn't say anything until we were best friends by that point, and I just told him that I didn't appreciate that and that I thought he hated me, and he said that wasn't the case. So he said it was just rookies, and you thought you knew everything coming in, but he was just making stuff up at that point. So for everybody out there, Jordy did hate me when I first got here, but now I couldn't ask for a better friend, so we're good.
How has that influenced you in terms of how you've led and how you've dealt with young guys?
Well, Jordy's a little bit more old school. Jordy, if I was a little bit smaller, I feel like he would have tried to take me to a goalpost or something old school like that, some Ray Lewis, like Ed Reed, Ravens type stuff. But I didn't really go the Jordy route, especially with some of the guys that I've had. I wish I would have, with maybe the Marquez or Jamon or something like that. But yeah, those are my guys, so I don't try to scare them too much. People tell me that I'm a scary dude, just like in general. Apparently people are pretty intimidated by me just on a day-to-day. And it's not, I don't know why. Maybe I got like resting, what is it? How's it go? They know in the back. But
Resting.
yes, that one, yeah. I think I have that, but I'm really the most approachable guy in the world, so I try not to scare him too much.
We're gonna go back to that.
Last question there.
That Cardinals game, just real quick, I saw your tweet, you pretty much lost for words. What do you remember about that, and what was your reaction to that last drive?
I just blacked out. I didn't know what was appropriate to say, so I'm glad that that's what I came up with, because I saw it made a pretty big splash. People love my tweets. I don't know what it is, but I can say just like what, and then they'll just speculate what I meant by that. Everything is cryptic too, so I'm glad that everybody understood what I meant by that. But yeah, it was pretty much too much for me to deal with on the spot, so that's really what I just came up with.